Yet more confusion then in the Middle East. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards declared the Strait of Hormuz shut again on Saturday, but the United States military said more than 50 ships crossed that day, some of them oil tankers. Meanwhile, Iranian state media says high-level officials have arrived in Switzerland for peace talks starting this Sunday. And after initially cancelling his trip, US Vice President JD Vance has landed to take part. You can see the latest pictures here. Pakistani mediators have arrived as well. Pakistani, I should say. Well, earlier on, we spoke to Reza, Sayah, our Tehran correspondent.
There is no confusion from Iranian perspective. They've made it very clear that the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, and they've made it clear that until and unless Washington restrains Israel from continuing their bombing campaign in southern Lebanon, they can forget about the memorandum of understanding. They can forget about the ceasefire. As you mentioned, scheduled today in Switzerland, an emergency session on Lebanon where you'll have the Iranian negotiating team and Washington's negotiating team. And that meeting in the coming hours are going to be pivotal. They're going to be pivotal to the memorandum of understanding signed by Tehran and Washington on Wednesday. They're going to be pivotal on this ceasefire and diplomacy moving forward. Let's explain to you where things stand from Tehran's view. On Saturday, yesterday, Tehran sending their negotiating team to Switzerland, led by Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. He's the lead negotiator, the Speaker of Parliament. Also in attendance, Abbas Araghchi, Iran's foreign minister. Iran also sending dozens of technical experts on the economy, political technical experts on the nuclear program. However, they've made it explicitly clear that they're not going to negotiate anything until and unless Washington fulfills its obligation, fulfills the first clause of that memorandum of understanding, and that's ending all hostilities across all fronts, including Lebanon. Tehran and Washington have had many disagreements over the past 47 years. But over the past few days, they've seemed to agree that Israel, in its actions, its continued bombing campaign in Lebanon, is putting this memorandum of understanding, this diplomatic process that was supposed to take place beginning yesterday in jeopardy. So all eyes on Switzerland. Can Washington use its leverage against Israel, and will Iran continue to shut down the Strait?
Well, let's give you the latest on the ground from Lebanon then. The civil defense there said 20 people were killed by Israeli strikes on Saturday. Israel's military says it's committed to a ceasefire agreed on Friday, but would continue to act against any threat, while Iran-backed Hezbollah says it won't allow Israel any freedom of movement in Lebanon. We heard from Renée Davis, our Beirut correspondent.
We had a very violent day yesterday with continuous Israeli strikes all throughout the south of the country. So civil defense reported 20 dead, other sources say 40. Hezbollah argues over 100 killed. I spoke to civil defense briefly yesterday, the civil defense in Lebanon are the government-funded search and rescue operations teams, and they're the only ones authorized to communicate with Israel, similar to the Red Cross does in Gaza, for example, when they want to conduct rescue missions to make sure it's safe for their paramedics. Now, they told us that it's been very, very difficult to access the site and to conduct their missions because of the continuous Israeli strikes. More on that, an entire family were wiped out in Al Salim, another one in Sahmar. All of this in the Nabatieh district, which is a very large district, highly densely populated. It has over 100,000 people living there. Well, not anymore, because I guess everyone has now left again, only after coming back in the past few days to see if their belongings were still there, to see if they could salvage any of their stuff. And now it's all happening again. You know, I've spoken to lots of people going south who just think that they've really, really lost a lot of hope in terms of believing in a ceasefire at the moment. I mean, the Hezbollah MP yesterday did not say that didn't accuse Israel of violating the ceasefire, but of prolonging and continuing the war.
Right.
So that's sort of where many civilians' heads are at.